Welcome back, everybody. So I'm guessing you're here because you're considering a move to Castle Rock, Colorado, and you're interested to learn what it might look like as far as costs when you move into the Castle Rock neighborhood. If you're curious to learn more about that, stick around. I'll cover all that coming up next. If this is your first time to the channel, my name is Bill Knapp. I'm a residential realtor here in the Denver metro area, specializing primarily in the South metro locations. The reason I shoot these videos is primarily because these are the questions I typically receive when helping people relocate into the Denver metro area or the surrounding neighborhoods, whether they're coming from Seattle or New York or Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. These are the same kind of questions I get almost all the time, so hopefully these videos provide some idea and context on what you can expect while moving here. That being said, being a licensed realtor in the area, I would love the chance to see if working with you is a good fit. All my contact information will be listed below. Call, text, and email. The very best way to reach me, honestly, is through call and through text. I am good about email as well, but I do get an inundated amount of emails in my inbox almost every day. So I do my very best to get back to you in a timely manner. That said, if you're interested to learn more or talk to me one-on-one, just reach out to me and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, now on to the actual content that you're here for, which is the cost of living in the Castle Rock area. By the way, if you haven't caught my video that I shot a little bit before this one on the pros and cons of living in Castle Rock and could you live there, do me a favor, hit the link above and check it out. It has a lot of details that will hopefully be a good complement to this video. For your reference, if you're not totally aware of where Castle Rock is located in the Denver metro area, it's basically southeast of downtown Denver, making it pretty well situated for all those people looking to do a shortish commute while still getting close to the city and living far enough away where you don't have all that traffic all the time. Now, for your reference, Castle Rock is located approximately 35 to 45 minutes away from downtown Denver, about 20 minutes or so from the Denver Tech Center, and it's also about 45 minutes to 60 minutes or so from Colorado Springs. And I say that because we'll be covering gas prices here in a little bit. It's good to know these times for your commute if you're going to be traveling to any of those locations or thereabouts. Now, as of recently, Castle Rock has grown in popularity with people moving to Colorado and also within the state of Colorado itself, primarily due to its location. In addition to its location, it also has amazing neighborhoods, schools, and shopping, making it kind of a well-rounded location for a lot of different people, whether you're a single person, married with kids, an elderly person, or you're just looking for something that's close enough to the city but far enough away to have a little bit of an anonymity. Now, that being said, the cost of living in Castle Rock compared to the national average on a scale of 100%, cost of living in Castle Rock is actually 37% higher than the national average, which means if you're coming here from a smaller area, like my hometown of Dayton, Ohio was wonderful and great, but the cost of living there is much more affordable than Castle Rock, you may be in for some sticker shock. That said, if you're coming in from, say, New York or Chicago, LA, take your pick, those bigger cities, moving here will be a lot more affordable. So if you'd like some more information on what that looks like for your actual PITI, your payment, interest, taxes, and insurance, let me know. I'll plug you in with some of my lenders and they'll give you some detailed information for your baseline analysis. Now, in comparison to the surrounding neighborhoods, Castle Rock is actually more affordable than a lot of the neighboring neighborhoods to the north. It's much easier and more cost-effective to get into Castle Rock than, say, compared to Highlands Ranch, Parker, Western Centennial. It's actually more affordable to get into Aurora. Not anything bad against Aurora, it's just the cost is a little bit cheaper because it's further to the east. If you're looking anywhere further to the north, you're definitely going to be paying more, and especially in Castle Pines, which is just adjacent to Castle Rock, or Castle Pines Village, much more expensive to move in there than actual Castle Rock town itself. So you may be asking, why is it 37% more expensive to live in Castle Rock than across the national average? So I'll jump into some of the primary costs you can expect. And the number one question I always get when people are moving here is centered around how much is the housing? So for the housing, especially from single family homes to condos to townhomes, it's a large variety in size and scale in Castle Rock, which is another reason why it's so attractive. You can get into Castle Rock at a pretty low budget, or you could actually spend several million and get an amazing place. So it's really up to you how much you want to spend. But for your baseline level analysis, getting into this, I've broken it down into single family homes, townhomes, and condos. Starting with single family homes, when you move to Castle Rock, you can expect the median home price to be approximately $680,000 at time of shooting this video, which will put you comfortably into a 3-bed, 3-bath home. ideally with a home office and some basement space that's either finished or unfinished, and a moderate sized yard. Now, if you're looking into the townhomes, you're going to be looking to spend closer to $480,000, which will put you into either a 2 to 3 bed unit with 2 bathrooms or so. Most of those will have an attached garage, which is awesome. Some do not, so it's really important to do your due diligence when shopping. And lastly, you can get into a condominium in the Castle Rock area pretty affordably compared to other neighborhoods. The starting cost for condos in Castle Rock is $382,000, which on average will yield you about a 2-bed, 1-bath to 2-bed, 2-bath property. Now, when you hear these prices, you may be thinking these are exorbitant if you're coming from somewhere smaller, or these are so affordable, what does it look like as far as appreciation? And to that end, year over year, from the last year to this year, we have seen 5.2% appreciation for all Castle Rock locations, which is really, really solid. And it's gonna be on that trend, I predict, moving forward, because as Denver grows, Castle Rock is not fully built out. It's one of those places that still has a lot of area to grow and a lot of desire by people moving into the area. So I think appreciation will continue to rise even during times of an economic downturn like we're feeling here in 2023. Also, when you're looking at those purchase prices for different homes and condominiums and such in the area, you're probably going to wonder, what does property taxes look like for Castle Rock? I know some people that have moved here from New Jersey where they're used to paying $21,000 to $25,000 in property taxes. The good news is they will not be that high here in Colorado, hopefully at all, because we are sitting on top of a 0.51% tax rate for the state of Colorado, making us the 3rd lowest in the entire United States. With that in mind, depending on the amount of finished square footage you have in your home, you can expect to pay property taxes in the range of about $3,000 to $5,500 per year, depending again on the size of your home and the amount of finished square feet. Now, in addition to your actual mortgage costs when you purchase out here, you're probably going to be looking into HOAs. And HOAs are in addition to your principal, your interest, your taxes, and your insurance. And they range all over the place because HOAs are not governed by a large body. They're independently owned and operated. So it's very important to work with a solid realtor or do some due diligence on your own to know what you're getting into with an HOA, what's included, and make sure that it's within the realm of your comfort. For your general reference, the HOAs that I'm most familiar with in Castle Rock start at about $25 a month, which is nominal, almost non-existent, which means that the HOA gives you absolutely nothing, as most of those are voluntary. Others go as high as $300 plus per month. And that's typically attached to like a condominium or a townhome. There are some neighborhoods that do have HOAs, but the inclusions with those are amazing. So you definitely want to look into the amenities, especially with those $200 to $300 HOA monthly fees, which is an addition again to your mortgage payment. You can generally expect to receive something along the lines of rec center uses, access to pools, street cleaning, yards that are taken care of on some of the condos and townhomes, the medians in the streets, and then also the different community events are sometimes included in those. So it's really good. They're a necessary evil. A lot of people hate HOAs, but they do serve a really good purpose. Just make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze depending on which place you're looking at. Now, let's say you're not quite ready to purchase, which is very common and absolutely okay. You can definitely work on finding a property to rent in the Castle Rock area, but with the caveat of knowing that the entire Castle Rock area is comprised of 22% renters and 78% homeowners. So there's not a huge amount of rentals in the area, but there are offerings available. For your general reference, and I don't work in rentals or leases, unfortunately, I'm not licensed in that in Colorado, but for your general reference, based on stats from RE Colorado, our MLS, the cost of renting a single family home in Castle Rock ranges on average from about $2,800 to $4,000 per month. Now, if you're looking for something a little more economic, you can generally find a townhome or condominium for about $1,800 starting. Some will go up as high as $2,400 per month. Also, please keep in mind, when you do those rentals, check to see in your rental cost if the HOA is or is not included, because that can be an additional cost to you. And I want to make sure that you're fully aware as you walk in that your bottom line is something that you can afford. Now, aside from the cost of living with just houses, there are a bunch of variable living costs that range all over the place based on your personal lifestyle and preferences. And one of the ones I always like to call out ahead of time, because a lot of people in the Castle Rock area do have kids or are thinking about having kids. There's a lot of good schools in the area, and a lot of people love the public schools because they have a better than average rating based on niche.com. That said, there are also a bunch of private schools, magnet schools, charter schools, religious schools, etc., which carry an added cost. Now, that cost can be exorbitant depending on which school you select. For example, I know one of the schools on average per year is about $17,500 for one of the more private exclusive schools. If your kid is one of those that fits into that scholastic realm, you're definitely going to want to put that into your budget to make sure that this is your range of affordability. Outside of the private schools, from what I understand and from my friends and colleagues that have children in the public school system, they're very happy, especially with not only the academics, but also the sports offerings and the support from the teachers and staff. Being in Douglas County, which is a very well-rated county for the scholastic system, there's really not a lot of bad options. So it's really just which one is going to be your better fit. Now, when it comes to actual personal use of things, it can get a little bit difficult to make a quantitative assumption on things. So what I've done is taken a real broad average about different costs. So starting off with things like your utilities, gas and electric, you can expect on average to pay about $115 or so, depending on the size of the property where you reside. Now, as far as your phone costs and what you can expect there, that's really up to whatever provider you use. But to my understanding, assuming 2 lines on a single account, you can expect to pay approximately $145 or so per month. And then if you want to add on cable and streaming, we have some really good service providers and offerings here. That on average will run you about $150 to $220 per month, depending on how big of a package and if you do sports or not add on. It can add up, so it's good to look for those discount deals, especially if you're a new customer coming into the area. Now, water bill. This is a really interesting one. If you have a larger property with a larger yard, your water bill will be up there because we are a landlocked state. We rely heavily on rainfall and snowmelt to provide for most of our annual water. Now, we do have watering restrictions, so in general, for an average size property, you can expect your sprinkler and your lawn and your usual household water bill to be about $100 or so. If you have a larger yard, it will go as high as you decide to water your lawn. It's up to you. Now, I referenced how far away Castle Rock is from some of the surrounding areas, primarily because of the commute and commute times. Gas has been going all over the place in this location for quite a while now, and as of shooting this video, we are at approximately $3.89 a gallon. If you have an EV vehicle, that'll definitely be a bit lower. But for your general reference, if you're planning for a half an hour up and back, how many times you need to fill up, $3 to $4 per gallon. Put that into your calculations to see what you can expect on average. A very important flexible spending cost that I like to call out are veterinarian bills. Colorado is a very big dog, cat, animal, pet state. Most people either have animals when they move here or they decide to adopt or purchase an animal for their family once they do arrive. The cost of a pet does add up over time, over the different years, but on average you can expect, depending on your veterinarian care, about $30 to $65 per visit, and then a little bit more if it's the first wellness check and they want to get all the shots and stuff. That'll be about $100 to $300 depending on which vet you select. Now, Colorado, it's known for the outdoors. We have lots of state and national parks. You're going to want to put into your budget, if you're an outdoorsy wanting to visit these kind of parks person, the cost for an annual pass, because if you're going to go at least once or twice, it makes sense to buy for the actual full annual pass. And you can expect on average to pay around $80 or so for your state park pass and up to about $80 or so for your federal park pass. Speaking of annual passes, a lot of people do love the winters up here, whether it's skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, take your pick. Those costs have gone through the roof as of the last several years, and they start right about $600 to $800 per person, which gives you a lot of great access to a bunch of mountains. But if you're going to add on a bunch of people from a family or whatnot, it adds up very, very quickly. So definitely do your part. Look at snow.com or check out the different mountains where you would like to ski or snowboard or snowshoe and see what you can expect, because those costs are all over the place and almost impossible for me to keep tabs on. And the last of the variable expenses that I typically recommend will be centered around your vehicle. Now, if you have a small sedan, you'll be just fine. Something with front wheel drive is ideally best here in Colorado because we do have snow and some slick conditions during the winter. That being said, you're also going to want to have better tires. So some people have hybrid tires or winter tires. Depending on what your insurance looks like and what your preferences are for your cars, you're going to want to put all that into your annual budget as well, because that can add up quickly over time if you're going to have to sell a vehicle to get a vehicle that's going to fit for the Colorado winters. And that should give you hopefully a high-level approximation of what you can expect to be paying when you move to the Castle Rock or Colorado area, honestly, in general. Hopefully some of this information was helpful. If I said anything along the way that was of benefit to you or was something you had not heard before, do me a favor, hit that bell notification, the like like button and the subscribe. That way you can stay up to speed every time I release a new video. Also, again, quick reminder, I am a licensed registered realtor here in the state of Colorado. I'd love to see if working together is a great fit. My contact information is below. I am best when reached out by phone or text, and I can get to you via email as well. Just contact me at all the different details below, and I'll do my very best to get back to you in a timely manner. Once again, my name is Bill Knapp, residential realtor here in the Denver metro area. Thank you as always for sticking around the end, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers.